Hey everybody, this is FEMMES at Large Presents Femininity and whatever you want to talk about. I'm January.
And I'm Marz.
Yeah, and today the topic is femininity and Real Housewives of Potomac. Okay,
I love it.
it's a lot of mess, but before we get into all of that, we're gonna talk about the topics. Marz, what the fuck is going on? What is happening today?
Yeah, this is gonna be a messy episode. This is for the chismosas only. I love it. Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, let's get into it. First up, I have to because unfortunately, as that auntie, yeah, I told you so. I'm sorry. In certain situations, I am, but I told you so. I am. But DDG and Hallie have reportedly split. They will be co-parenting separately, and I couldn't be happier. January.
I'm still waiting for like them to tell me it's a prank. So I'm giving it one more week.
Really?
But
That's way
I'm
too
cuz like but they prank us all the time. Like something it just seems weird how they broke up.
like that. She doesn't do stupid stuff like that.
Well, I mean, she was kind of weird in the relationship. I don't know. She was doing sus stuff and I was like, is this you or is this him?
Hmm.
Like I don't know. Like the nail salon thing that happened, hiding the pregnancy for that long, even though it was like getting comical. It was comical at one point. We're like, okay, now you're insulting my intelligence.
Like it became that era of Friends when I can't remember her name, but Ross's sister was pregnant, and they like had to hide it like the whole term, like her whole pregnancy. That's what it became with her. It was literally like a game of Where's Waldo. It was so ridiculous. No, but I hear you. I hear you. I think she genuinely does not like people in her business, but is a public herself and is married to one of the most annoying people on the internet. Or they're not married, but had a baby with one of the most
Right.
internet, and she still tries to keep that air of mystique that I think most, if not all, people, at least musicians, I would be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Should never wanting to do an interview, never wanting to really talk to anyone. Like
Right.
that's totally fine with me. Um, but by being associated with who she's associated with, that's when it becomes silly. That's when it becomes
Yeah.
sensical because it's like, girl, like we see you,
What
mama,
are you doing?
like no, like no. So I give her grace. I give her grace because she's young, and I give her grace because I understand what she's trying to do. But
Mm.
trying to accomplish what she's trying to accomplish with this goober, with this absolute L7 weenie, I can't do it. I can't. I can't fake the funk. Again,
Uh,
the parasocial thing. I understand this is a parasocial relationship that I have. I see these girls as
right.
a little sister, as a young, they're so young, and
I know.
we're siphoned away from them, from this insufferable being that leeches off of their oh, he's not even good at anything. He's not even good at like the one thing that he's known for. Like he's not even that great at it. He's just good at being annoying. So
Yeah.
I'm just I'm incredibly I if this ends up being a prank, you guys, you'll hear about it on the news. Don't act shocked. Don't act shocked. Because unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take matters into my own hands. I will. I will.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think like that's like my inner thought of like maybe it is a prank, but there is a lot of evidence as to why she would leave. I mean, like it seems on par. I mean, I think the thing that kind of was weird to me was like all the ways they tried to hide baby Halo, and then he becomes a meme. Granted, he's the cutest kid in the world, but I'm just like, why are y'all doing this to him? He don't even have he can't even formulate sentences, and he all over the internet for life. It just felt like a lot to me, and like I just feel really worried for him, especially with his dad, because I feel like his dad just is always putting him on the internet, and it just I don't know. I feel weird about it.
That baby couldn't even form one sentient thought. Eyeballs freshly open, and he was broadcasted to the internet 24/7. Like we spent months of Where's Waldo with that lady, knowing full well, what was going on, knowing full well we let her play, we let her, we let her
We
do,
did.
let her have her moment. Just for the minute he pops out to be literally one of the most used baby memes is crazy to me. It's
Crazy.
crazy. It's so crazy. And I think maybe we need to do a whole episode on like, because I'm fascinated by the concept of like the the parents that like post their child. That's all they do is post their kid, like the
Mm-hmm.
mom influencers or like the family influencers.
Yeah.
When I worked at this one franchise that I will not name, um, there is, I think it still happens. It's called Playlist Live. They also, that franchise also owned that convention, so I got to go and get one of the like worker or whatever passes so that I could like, we had a booth and we would serve the
Mm-hmm.
products that that franchise served, and
Right.
I would see these like family influences, and it's so strange, it's so
Wow.
weird to me, and I'm fascinated by it, and I really want to dive into that topic. But yeah, it
Let's
is
do it.
it is hilarious that we spent all that time being like, all right girl, you ain't pregnant, you got no baby, all right girl, just for the minute he opened his eyeballs.
All over the internet.
There, all he see, his first moments of life,
Just
that
scared.
he can see is a camera in their face. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oof. I'm happy that I'm hoping they're happy apart. I hope that they can co-parent properly for the sake of Halo. And I hope this Halo get a break, man. He trying to figure out sounds, bro. He not trying to work yet. Like, just give him a break, man. Just, just relax.
No, like it pisses me off real bad because I know he don't read to that baby. I know,
No,
and again, let me not overstep because I ain't got no kids. I ain't got no kids, so let me not overstep. But the camera be in his face too much. It be in his
too
face.
much.
I'll say that and I'll leave it there. Um,
That's it.
but I will say I did shout a little bit. I did have.
You called it.
I gotta praise. Yes. Alrighty. So the next on the list, we have another. We have a lot of drama with it with people splitting up this week.
Yeah.
But Kanye and his girl, which
Mhm.
was basically Kim's clone, to help him cope through
It's weird.
all of the issues he currently has.
Yeah.
Bianca Sensori, was that right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, no real confirmation from either party, but this is just what's been reported. So this is what the rumor is on the grapevine, is that they have also split up.
Mhm.
And yeah,
I mean,
I'm
it's
for her.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not rooting for anybody because it was just so like it was just like nothing. I don't know, like because even knowing them getting together was just like a facade kind of at the time because 'cause I think it was like that time when Kim was with what's his name what's that
Pete
white man's name?
Davidson.
Pete Davidson and like all that drama of like the truck of
Yeah.
flowers. It just was very performative. I'm hoping Bianca the best because I don't know, even with the whole nitrous oxide stuff, like, or I might have to bleep that out because I might get banned on here for even just
Oh my god, I forgot.
saying it.
Uh,
Fred, shadow ban, y'all. We can't even talk about it because they're trying to shadow ban. But essentially, after learning about Kanye going through that,
yeah.
I just kind of feel like I'd be scared to be his partner. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know what's going on. I know he's in like Japan a lot lately, so I don't know if he's trying to revamp and get stuff together and like figure out next moves. But I don't know. I'm just hoping he gets right, he gets help, and I'm hoping she gets help because some don't sit right with that whole situation. Like I don't
No,
know.
it was strange from the very first day. Why did no one ever question, or I'm sure people were questioning it, but not enough for my taste. She was always naked in public. That
That
seemed
I thought it was so strange.
like situation of he is the dom and she is the,
Yeah.
it was very weird. The power dynamic there,
Yeah, I agree.
but I have been forced to learn about her over the past year or so that they've been together. How long was it? Maybe like 2 years. Um,
Hell yeah.
what I've learned is that she's like a biochemist or something like that. Like she like went to school
Really?
and stuff and is like, learned. And so it's definitely just someone that was unfortunately probably just swept away by his celebrity and like is someone
Mm,
that drank the Kool-Aid. Well, we should stop using that phrase. But is someone
yeah.
that followed in with the hive mind thinking of the people in his camp where it's like he's this genius, he's this visionary, he's this revolutionary human being that I think she just genuinely probably believes that, but also maybe wanted to like live in the fantasy like in the same way
Hmm.
that Julia Fox did it. I have no reason to defend Julia Fox.
Right.
She is, but she very plainly, like when they broke up, was like, yeah, like I just wanted to just like be in that fantasy. I
I can
want
see that.
things and being around people like that. So whatever.
Mm.
It seemed like a situation that that woman was not in power. Like she did not have. There was not an equal yoke situation happening. So I think I hate to assume, but considering the likes of who he hangs around with and the allegations that have now come to light, it
Hmm.
wouldn't be surprising that that was not a situation that she went into participate like as a willing participant.
Consensually, yeah.
Yeah, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just feels like one of those like controlling like this is how you will look, and then I really want to like pick the brain of a Kanye fan in 2024 because it's like everyone just like went with his whole switch to gospel and everybody's like he's
Hmm.
God fearing man now, but walking around with his wife deliberately and purposefully half naked or fully naked in public every single time they were seen together. How do those
Right.
two drive? How does
They
that?
don't.
How does the math work on that?
They don't. I don't. To be a hardcore Kanye fan in 2024 is baffling. When you get the answers, please tell me because I don't know how it's even a thing. Like I don't even know how you could still
Curious,
justify
very
any of
curious.
it.
Not enough to talk to one, but I am curious.
Yeah. No, for sure. Damn. Well, I mean, I hope they ended peacefully. I hope all parties are okay. Mostly Bianca. And I'm ready to see what Kanye's really going through. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm ready to see like what's
He,
really like. Yeah, that's valid.
I hate to be so like unsupportive, because that's obviously not good for people that clearly need help. I hate to say it. I'm not gonna hold my breath. Is what I'm gonna say. Like
Uh,
I'm not gonna hold my breath. He has all the money in the world, all the resources. He deliberately puts himself in this echo chamber. I don't know. I'm not saying
mm,
he needs to be Baker acted, but like
he needs help.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for that. When it's someone that's so unwilling but so desperately needs the help,
Mm,
like what is the answer? When?
yeah.
When? How long are you gonna wait? I don't know. I don't know.
No,
I
that's a
don't
valid
know.
argument.
Still people out there. I mean, his daughter loves him and is so infatuated with him. I
Mm,
hope that'll be enough for him, um, to want to hang around for them.
mm,
But she also only knows this version of him. So she's like, there's nothing wrong with my dad. She's too young to see behind the how unwell he is because that's
yeah.
Superman. That's my dad's the greatest guy in the world. And I love that for her. But like when she gets
Yeah.
older and is forced to look back before she was
It's
born
gonna
and
hurt. It's
put
gonna hurt.
put everything together, that's
It's
gonna
gonna
be
hurt.
like a whirlwind of it's gonna rock her
Mm.
world. I fear.
Yeah, it will.
I don't know what the answer is to that, but you know, good
Yeah.
luck to Bianca. And,
Good luck.
that's a lot of divorces. Both of them need to slow down. Both of them need to
Yeah.
just sit. Kim and him. That whole family. I
See,
don't know.
stop.
We need a red table talk or something. I don't know. Um, but speaking of exes and messiness, if y'all caught Tiana Taylor's whole
Please
saga
break it
with Kayla
down.
Cole,
Please break it
oof,
down.
that was good. That was so good. That was some good mess. Yeah. So here's the breakdown. Tiana Taylor, um, once famously married to basketball and recording artist Iman Shumpert.
Yeah.
That was messy. That was very messy. Tiana Taylor and Iman Shumpert were a period of time a power couple. Beautiful kids, hilarious
Hmm.
family. I love them. I don't know how I feel about Iman, but I love Tiana. I really do. I really love her. Down. Oh my god, I love.
Right.
So they've split up. I knew for a hot minute before she ever said anything. I'm like, they're not together no more. And then
Right.
when she finally said, I was like, all right, thank God. Um, but apparently, Kayla Nicole was on Angel's podcast
Hmm.
and talked about how I don't know how they got to the topic. I actually haven't even seen the clip. All I saw was this long brick of text of Kayla explaining. No, no, no. It was I just all I read was Tiana's response, and then I figured out
Yeah.
what Kayla. So Kayla Nicole talks about how, which you couldn't waterboard this kind of information out of me. But talks Kayla Nicole, if you're unfamiliar with her, Travis Kelsey's ex, the black girl before Taylor Swift.
Oh, KKK. We're here. Yes. Thank you.
So, mind you, now she's already down two bitches. Okay, she lost Travis to what's his face, and then before that, this was before Travis lost Iman to Tiana.
I mean, I'd be mad about
I'd
Travis,
be
but
mad at the world,
Iman, it was a blessing probably.
as if men are some prize. But do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Um, so when Kayla was with Iman,
Hmm.
they split, and then eventually Iman got with Tiana. So once they had split up, and Iman was with Tiana, Kayla decides that Halloween. I don't know how many years it had been, but she confesses, with under no threat of
Under
violence.
no duress, nothing.
No, the rest fully volunteers that she dressed up as her ex's new girlfriend, which at the time would have been Tiana Taylor, and refers to her as used like famous at the time. So she goes, "I dressed up as my ex's famous at the time new girlfriend."
But she's still. Ooh,
So
that's
everyone's crashing
shady.
right now. I think globally, it's everything.
Yeah.
And so I give her grace in the way that she responded to this, but it was kind of crazy considering the things that she doesn't respond to. So Tiana puts out the most extensive piece of text. I'm going to send it just so y'all can see the screenshot of how
Right.
long this comment was, and or I think it was on her story. It was something like it was a lot of text. It was giving one of Nikki's tweets, like low key. And
Uh,
if we're gonna give her hell,
it's gotta be equal opportunist
you know
over
what I'm
here.
saying. Good for the goose has to be good for the gander. That's the kind of community I live in. That's the kind of community I live
Uh,
in. She goes on. She goes on to just onto the whole situation, and it's just like, you know, um, you have all this smoke for me, but had nothing to say to Taylor Swift. Essentially, when it was a similar situation, um, she feels to have been slighted by the used to be or famous at the time comment, and I would be
yeah,
too. I would
I
be.
would be.
I
It's really crazy. Hold on, let me get. It's really crazy that everyone is allowed to bother me and be distasteful. Everybody gets to play while I move with grace. Always. Now, I want to have a little Sagittarius fun too. And it's a problem? Oh, she fucking with a Sag. That's Fuck the Iman part. I'm divorced and happily so. However, her choice of words were very distasteful and uncalled for. She knew exactly what she was doing. That lady said, quote, she was famous at the time. Also said, quote, I don't care who see it. It was very distasteful and uncalled for. Most importantly, she knew people would dig, so automatically my name is attached to the nonsense. At that point, she didn't need to at me. That was clearly a quick search. My name was trending without an at before even saying a word. Ooh, that's a flex. That's how I seen it. LOL. On top of the fact that the math wasn't mathing and the facts weren't facting. However, the level of cringe factor was. LOL, I'm finding out, just like the world, that her intentions were ill and petty. She pulled the black card when it came to Taylor Swift, but in the same circle turned around and tried to bully the black woman that was married to her situationship she claimed, quote, dumped her for me. Dressing up like me for what? Crazy part about all of this, I actually showed love under her pic when she posted it, like I did the other however many people that dressed up as me for Halloween. Whole time, I didn't even know she was being shady. Now I do. So in that case, petty panties on. I had my little fun. I said what I said, and now I'm done and headed back to set. Yeah, she cleared her. I ain't gonna hold you. She
Yeah,
cleared her.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Clear the whole
Yeah.
plate. Yeah, yeah. And you know, both things, two things can be true at once. This is a lot for this
Right.
girl who is nowhere near the level of infamy that Tiana has built for herself. So it is a little like left
Yeah.
field. But
Right.
also, if you're gonna talk about me, then guess what? I get to comment. I get to respond. That's my life that you're. It's I'm a part of the equation too. So I'm
Yeah.
just put in my little two cents then as well. I got the time. Hell, I got 672 characters actually to tell you about yourself. And I'm
Correct. I mean,
like,
I don't. It just feels weird because it's like, what was the point of doing that photo shoot? Like, it doesn't give shade. It just gives like a fan. I'm just confused.
and that's another thing that's confusing me is like what I think it's immediate for everyone, including Tiana, to interpret it as shade. But
Hmm.
I don't think that that's what that was. If it was giving shade, I thought when I looked up what the Halloween costume was going to be, excuse me, it was going to be something like just derogatory. Like I thought it was going to be
Right.
like something where she looked unflattering or she dressing up as her when she was doing my
Hmm.
16. No, she did fade. Fade was
Shade was
like
good.
physical form, I think, for Tiana Taylor or just like any
Yeah, I remember that.
body.
Yeah.
Like her body was insane. It
Right.
looked unreal, like not like a human, you know? And so
Yeah.
for her to remake that and as well, Kayla, body T. No, she ate it. So I
She
don't
did.
think she was trying to bully her. This is me with my girl brain trying to
Yeah.
analyze the situation. Is my ex is with her, I'm gonna dress up like her so that maybe he looks at me again. This is delusional girl brain. This is how it works. This
I
is
can see
I'm gonna
that.
post my story because I know that we're still friends, and if he likes or responds to it, he's thinking about me, and I won.
Hmm.
That's what it
Hmm.
gets, which is still weird, still
It's
crazy,
still weird. Right.
but I don't think it was like a mockery type of thing. Like the way she recreate, I don't know. I
No, I
just
agree with you.
things where it's like, why would you volunteer that information? You look wild.
Crazy. Yeah, I agree. It was kind of strange. But that does actually kind of make sense. And it's gotta be tough, like being like the first, and then they keep leaving you for like another option. Like, not even. I'm trying to be as respectful as possible. That sounded bad, but like that's tough. That's tough. You go through all the hard work before they really hit superstardom, and then they leave you, and then they get even more
Just
money.
like that.
Both of them.
I would
So
feel some.
that's gotta hurt. Some, you
I
know.
And what's so crazy is with when it came to Travis Kelsey, I knew once he won that first Super Bowl or whatever it was, I said he not gonna stay with this girl.
Really, I
I
was
knew it
hoping.
because that's
Yeah.
how they do. I said he not gonna marry this girl. He not gonna stay with her.
Damn. That's a good point. Sorry to all parties involved. I think everyone's just hurt. That's a lot.
Everybody's hurting right now. Everybody's kind of
Yeah.
a moment in like, you got to get it out how you get it out. Address what you need to address. As long as we not in a retrograde, say your piece, man. Say what you got
Yeah.
to say.
Go ahead.
I think we need
Mm-hmm.
more of it. I respect it. Um, but lastly, on the docket, somebody that doesn't, two people that I don't need to say anything ever anymore. You don't need to let anything out. Um, Jaguar Wright and Orlando Brown. Again, this may need to be its own topic one day. But do we really want to invest this much energy into these people?
We
I don't.
really don't. Mm-mm. We would
Um,
never figure it out. That's the thing.
you'll never
It
get
would,
to the
we would.
bottom of the rabbit hole. You'll never do it. You'll be chasing your tail the whole time. You didn't even know. You going,
Yeah.
you going, you going up, down, left, and right. There's no rhyme
Yeah.
or reason. It's like trying to like fight the Riddler. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
just no. So if you're unfamiliar with the likes of Jaguar Wright or Orlando Brown, so am I. But to give you a lump summary, quick Cliff Notes version of their
Life.
arc, Jaguar Wright,
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what her connection is to the industry being the music
Mm-hmm.
industry predominantly, but just mostly she has been in circles with black famous elites,
Mm-hmm.
according to her rendition of the stories. Am I denying that she was ever in those rooms? No, she probably was. How she got there, I really don't know. I don't know if she's a writer. I don't know if she's a producer. I don't know how she entered the game. But she's entered and she has intel, apparently, that you would never believe. We're unsure of how she ended up being in these rooms and witnessing what she claims to have witnessed, but nonetheless,
Mm-hmm.
she's there. And she's got stories. And let me tell you, she's got a lot of them. And she has taken upon herself to go on this crusade and expose the, evildoers and be a voice for the voiceless. And you know who else has joined her on this self-inflicted journey, hero's journey? None other
Who?
than Orlando Brown, another trustworthy source. Who I love to ask for, the truth and, recount firsthand uh, stories from their point of view. Uh, People like those two. So that's what we're dealing with right now as a community. Um, and it's getting to be a lot because these people, much like a Dr. Sebi, much even like a Dr. Umar,
Mm-hmm.
anyone that has a doctor in front of the name, or there shouldn't, or the name of an animal, they're just untrustworthy.
Yeah.
They're unfortunately not trustworthy people, trustworthy sources, and it's been a lot being on the internet and having to dodge these conversations because it's a whole group of people going through a collective psychosis, and then there's
Yes.
everyone that's in reality.
Yes. Yes.
So what has been your experience having to navigate this right now? Because I'm clearly, as you can see, I'm on my last, uh
Yeah. No,
I'm on my back.
it's a lot. So Jaguar Wright, I actually knew of a song that she sang. It's actually really good. So she was like a background singer for a lot of these people, and
That
She actually has a great, not great, but like a good voice. And I remember there was one song that by her that I really enjoyed. And so when she started coming around, I'm like, oh shit, like, okay, well, damn, like, I guess that's the reason why I only had like one song out is because of like all this stuff. And at first, like, she seemed lucid, but then over time, it just got like really bad. I think when it really blew up was when she was interviewed by Tasha K. Back. This is like this was during this is during the lockdown type of stuff. She got interviewed by Tasha K. And Tasha K like set her up so bad, like was like, oh yeah, and like try to act like she believed her, but then come to find out like she was lying a lot about a lot of stuff. I think she had like a mental illness, possibly personality disorder or something, and like allegedly, I don't know, and that she was like homeless, you know, like houseless, like, you know, living in her car. So, you know, that came out, it kind of was just like, dang, like it was hard for me to take anything seriously. And then like on brand, everything got way more extreme. And Orlando Brown, like, you know, we loved him from a lot of the older shows, especially That's So Raven. He just was like a really good childhood star. And so for him to like go through his addiction and now come back as this, like, it's just a lot. Like watching the videos on TikTok, I couldn't get through them because I'm like, what are y'all, like, I don't even know what y'all are saying. Y'all don't even know what y'all are saying. And you got people in the comments like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, like, that's why. So, y'all, yes, there could be debauchery going on in the music industry, but there also could be two individuals who have no idea what they're talking about and literally saying stuff because they know they'll get paid. I just, it's been hard to watch. And thankfully, I have a good core group who doesn't believe in this stuff. But it's just really hard seeing people online like really gung-ho behind her. And whoever is filming her with the I Got Five on It song on it needs to stop. It needs to stop. You guys know what y'all are doing. Y'all been doing it for the last 2 years. Stop. Every time I hear that song and I see her, I scroll. Cause why are y'all doing this to her?
No, because
Why?
if I hear that slowed down us version of I Got Five on while she's like, and that's why Mickey Mouse has 6 kids. You wouldn't know that. Maury was in a non-consensual relationship with Pam from Martin. But then nobody wants to talk about it. I can't do this with y'all.
It's just like a lot. It's saddening. And it's crazy because like there's conspiracy staring you in the face, like systems of oppression, the state of the environment, genocide. But y'all are really just clinging on to this woman who's telling you things that you can't verify and will never be a part of and never get the truth story on. It's just actually wild. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. I think it's very layered. It would be a fun episode just to even talk about conspiracies in Black culture, but it's not even worth our time because it would never be solved, honestly. So yeah.
Yeah, literally no point, unfortunately. A lot of people have said this on the internet, and I'm not saying that I agree with their sentiments, but they are akin to that family member that a lot of people in the Black community have, that you just kind of just let them, they just like that. They just, that's what
Yeah.
that's what it needs to be. But it's people that's genuinely really. It's a lot of spiritual psychosis going on right now, y'all. And I know because it seems like it's end of times, and it might be. It might be. The Earth is not doing. It's desperately trying to abort us post term. They're trying to fling us off the globe. Okay,
I mean,
we are like little mosquitoes on this thing, and she's like, "Oh my God, get off me!" Oh my God. No, that's what it's giving. So yeah. Northern Lights in the Bronx and 2 hurricanes back to back within a span of 2 weeks in the Gulf. The Earth is heating rapidly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, that was the topics of the week, y'all.
Yeah, thank you, Mars. We appreciate your hard work because that was a lot to take in. But we're just gonna pray for the state of the world because I understand. Fling us off. I get it. We've like done a lot, so I get it. Um, yeah. So okay, yeah. So that was the media topics. Today we're gonna talk about femininity in Real Housewives of Potomac. Mars, what have you heard about Potomac overall? Even just the city or like the show? Like, cause I don't think you've watched it, right? Like at
No, I'm not
all? Okay.
even watching shows like that. Like I just know the main memes, the clips
Mm-hmm.
that I've seen. I know those important plot points, and they're all most of the ones that I like at least are from Atlanta. But I have seen
Mm-hmm.
some of the Real Housewives of New York here and there. Um,
Right.
I don't even know where Potomac is.
Okay, so I'm gonna get into it with you. I'm gonna tell you what's up. So, a lot of people don't know about Potomac. I actually had the pleasure of visiting Potomac before the show came, and I didn't really know much about it either. But um, imagine Potomac is like in Atlanta, but like no scammers. Like it's actual wealth over there. Like,
Yo,
you know what I'm saying? Like you don't
yeah, at Wall
it's
Street.
quiet. It's quiet. Like, and it's like a hidden gem that I feel like a lot of people don't really know about. And I remember like cuz when I first went to Atlanta, I'm like, wow, like black people thriving, money, like it's crazy. But like Potomac, I just was like I had never seen generational wealth look like that. And like
Right,
black wealth looked like that in that way. And it was really interesting. And it's not just like there's a lot more black people with wealth in the area, but it's just a very wealthy, just diverse area overall.
hmm
So it's in Maryland. It's like maybe 20-25 minutes from DC. So like a lot of the people that live in Potomac probably work in the city or have some connections to their whatever
right,
DMV area. I thought Potomac was interesting. I wanted to look into the history of it a little bit, but basically like the reason why black people have more wealth there, or like there's more wealthier black people there, is because before and during the Civil War there were like black fishermen. Well, they were like enslaved peoples first, but they were like fishermen of the Potomac, right? So like they would like catch fish, whatever, and they would have like navigators that would like go up and down the Potomac River or whatever. And these people not only helped to like unify the enslaved people along the river, but also when the Civil War ended and they got their freedom, they were able to keep those jobs. So they kept that wealth and they were able to buy land and property that was given after the Civil War, as not compared to, the South where we were promised 40 acres and a mule and it never happened. So like I don't know all the intrinsic going ons of Potomac, but it seems like that's kind of maybe the reason why there is more black wealth and it's not as foreign as it would be in other parts of the country.
right.
So yeah, so I thought that was interesting. And then one fun fact too. So there's like over 45,000 residents in Potomac, and 83.8% of adults have at least a bachelor degree.
Wow.
83.3%. I was like, when I compared it to the literacy rate of the United States, um, 50. This was documented for the year 2022 to 2023. 54% of adults had a literacy rate below the sixth grade level in all of the United States. So comparing that to 83.8% of people in Potomac have a bachelor's degree, that's a big deal. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting
54?
to kind. You said what?
You said 54%?
54% of adults in the U.S. have below a sixth grade learning level.
Mm,
So it was saddening, but it made sense. And it made me understand why Twitter is what it is. You see what I'm saying? Like it just
accurate number. I was expecting like 30 to 50, over half. Okay. But
that was
yeah, yeah, yeah.
2022 to 2023 years. So I don't know what it is for 2023, 24, but
Probably
yeah,
worse.
we left the kids behind. So
Drop the ball. I'm not understanding where this number's coming from. Because
I,
children
I
left.
don't I
Children
don't
left.
either. But yeah, so basically, Potomac has just kind of been known to be this area of just like wealth, and there's a lot of black people with wealth, and like I wanted to touch on Potomac, the Real Housewives of Potomac, because there's been a lot of controversy on the show
Yeah.
overall, and even in its relationship to femininity, it's just really interesting. And I think some of the main threads in it are respectability politics, classism, and colorism. Colorism is a big one, but I think respectability and classism is kind of intrinsically in there because of the wealth in that, area.
Yes.
So we're gonna focus on two main people for the episode. The first person is Karen Huger, and then the
Hmm.
second person is Giselle Bryant. So we're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna get into it. Have
He's
you
on it.
Giselle Bryant's on it? Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. We're gonna connect the dots, Fred. We're gonna connect the dots. It's a lot. It's a lot. What have you? Well, okay. Before we get to Giselle, I'm just gonna start off by just intro and everything. We'll get into Karen.
Hmm.
So, Real Housewives of Potomac premiered on Bravo January 17th, 2018. And people didn't know what Potomac was. Like they were like, "What is Potomac?"
Where
And
moment.
right. It started off with six cast members, and so Karen Huger and Giselle Bryant were like two of the first of the cast.
The only names on Twitter is Karen, Robin, and I really don't be hearing about Giselle on it that much, but I be hearing a lot about Karen and Robin.
There's reasons why you hear and reasons why you don't hear. So okay, it was Giselle Bryant, Karen Huger, Ashley Darby, Katie Ross, who we love Katie Ross. She was great too. Sharice Jackson Jordan and Robin Dixon. Sharice, yeah. And when you looked at that beginning cast, like it actually made sense. Like Katie was into like benefits and charity work and like art and stuff like that. Ashley Darby was married to this really rich white man, and she was really young, and she was like basically having a good time, but it worked for them. Giselle Bryant, was formerly divorced from her pastor husband Jamal Bryant, and that's a whole other thing we're gonna get into. And yeah, so like that cast was like it was a good kind of indication of how Potomac kind of is. Like you're kind of it's like a silent wealth, but you guys can kind of be shady, kind of funny. But now it's turned into like whatever it's turned to now. But at the beginning, it was a good show of black wealth in this way, and it was just different because I think a lot of us just really didn't know anything about it. But yes, we have Karen Huger. So Karen Huger is known as the Grand Dame, and she actually she has a lot of cool history. So her like ancestors, they were enslaved in an area called Surrey County, Virginia, and they were able to actually buy back the plantation that they were enslaved
Wow.
on, the farm. So in that, it created wealth. They were like really known in the area. It'll help to afford her the opportunity to go to college, get opportunities, and that's where she also met her now husband. What's his name? Ray. We can always just call him Ray on the show, but his name Raymond Huger, and we affectionately call him the Black Bill Gates. So
Hmm.
we, through that, like having the history of like having that black generational wealth coming into it, and she had like a life of her own. She was married before, but she had money, and then she meets the Black Bill Gates. So Ray Huger, currently he's the president and CEO of Paradigm Solutions International, which is like a software like management and consulting company. So he does that now, kind of into his retirement. But before that, he was an executive at IBM for 25 years.
Wow.
And they say on the show like he was like self-made because he really worked for it. Being black, being in that industry, even though it's hella new, like it's really hard to get into.
Yeah.
So when you see that's Karen. Like she's kind of like very much on that wealth, but also with Karen, she could be kind of shady. She could be a little classist at times, especially in the first couple seasons. She was very like snooty. People didn't
Oh
really
yeah.
like her. You know, I I thought she was funny because she would just say the
It's
funniest stuff. Fred, she's
she's funny.
hilarious. And like, but the thing with her is like, she's not really liked because she could be kind of hypocritical, and she also, when she does something wrong or like something's happening, she's very like elusive and doesn't give real accountability, which is what she's kind of dealing with now based on her second DUI that she's attributed, that happened. So I feel like with Karen, I feel like she's a perfect study of like why classism and respectability, like, it's pointless
Yeah.
because, you know, you pride yourself on this wealth that you've attained. You pride yourself on like, this is how a woman acts. This is how a woman's supposed to be. But yet, season 3, Ray got in some tax issues, and it was bad. It was like all over the news type of stuff. What,
Ooh.
she didn't want to comment on it or anything. It was very just weird the whole season, rightfully so. Because, you know, like, technically, if it's just your husband, it's just your husband. I don't have nothing. But even though people were like, hey, like, y'all are married, you knew nothing about this, like, what was going on? So there was that. And then also with like the DUIs, like, even though I love Karen, I think she's funny. I don't think I'm like a part of the Grand Dame like fan club,
Yeah.
but I think she's really funny. But the way that she's not fully being accountable to the way in which she could have really seriously hurt somebody,
Yeah.
driving under the influence, and I don't even think she was supposed to be driving. I think because of like her past DUI from way back in the day. It was strange. So in that, I feel like you pride yourself on your respectability and all that, but yet you're breaking the rules here. What's the point of it? The system is whack. What have you heard of Karen? Like, how do you feel about the way like that she is? If you've heard of her, like seen her mannerisms or anything?
Um, she, I would see anytime there was a new season, I would always see her name. Karen this, Karen that.
Yeah,
Real Housewives of
yeah,
Potomac. Every single time. And so I've seen some clips, because I'm gonna just be like, who is this lady? Like, what is she always doing?
yeah.
And from what I understand, it looked like she always lit. Like she just kind of looked drunk all the time. Like there's a lady that's like that on Real Housewives of New York, I think it is. I
Mm.
can't think of her name right now, but she has like a shortcut. You know the franchise. Do you know their
I don't want. I didn't watch the old New York, but I think I know what you talk about.
got like a like it's like kind of like spiky
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
short. She
Yeah.
looked like her, like they just look drunk all the time. That's one thing about these housewives. They need to put the bottle down. Ladies, we need to put the bottle down. But no, I didn't know her like lore, her background, that she was built into generational wealth. Now that I'm putting all of that together, it is making sense why she is the way she is and why she views respectability politics the way that she does. Because of course, someone that is like of her stature wouldn't see a problem with tax fraud, wouldn't see an issue with a DUI, because like those are more like white collar crimes, and the way,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm not selling drugs, like, yeah, I drink, but like
Yeah.
that's drinking is an okay addiction to have. Like it's a
Mm.
socially acceptable addiction to have. Like, oh, it's just a
Yes.
little bit of wine. Like, no, it's 3 bottles, and maybe a Xan. Like you're not, and an Ambien. Like
Yeah.
you're not like,
Yeah.
it's not a joint. Um, so yeah, all I've ever seen is people getting into it with her, and just kind of like controversy surrounding her and her husband, but I never delved into why. So I love that I'm getting the background. Oh my god, this is
Yeah.
delicious.
I was so happy I get to give it to you because like I feel like it's stuff that's just in my head, and like you talk to people about it, but like no one watches the Housewives like that anymore. They do. There's a huge
They
community
do,
actually,
they
but
do.
but
There's
it's
like,
just not. Yeah. Yeah. So like it's just like Real Housewives is so interesting because, like you said, with like them drinking all the time, because there's a lot of housewives that are like perpetually tipsy or like drinking a lot, and I
all
want
the
to like, yeah, part of it is I think like stuff they're working through, but also these shows allegedly always have liquor at the functions. They always have it there, and like some of the biggest blowups have happened over drinking, which is like maybe we'll do an episode just on the Real Housewives franchises overall, but yeah, I digress. Yeah, so Karen, like, I feel like she has a heart. She has empathy. I do appreciate that when she's not trying to evade responsibility for her actions, I feel like she's really good at trying to be logical and trying to like see the other perspective. She's a Taurus, so I can see that. You know, like whenever there's beef, like I think she's like the
Mm-mm.
person, the elder that's like, hey, why don't you, you know, maybe you should see from this perspective. Maybe you should talk to this person. And they'd be like, no, Karen, like blah, blah, blah. But like she actually does like try to like mend the group at times. But it's so funny. Her and Giselle be bumping heads for years. They be
Yeah.
bumping heads, even though they're kind of similar and kind of not. But Karen is more likable. Because we'll tell you why. Because Giselle, she's a lot to take in. So we're gonna get into her right now. Yeah, because Karen, there's not really much to say. She knows she needs to be more accountable, but I think she's of like that older generation of like deny, 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 and that's why people really get annoyed with her because we're a generation of we want genuine like accountability. We want you to answer to this. If you're going through something, just tell us. But she's not good with that. So I still love Karen though. Karen's funny. All right, next we have Giselle Bryant. So even if you haven't watched the show, you've heard the name because she's just very, very controversial. On the franchises of Real Housewives, like there's like a formula to have like the best cast. I feel like you have to have somebody who's out of control. You have to have, you know, funny people, but then you also have to have somebody who could be the bone collector, stir the pot, agitate. It's a story. There got to be an antagonist, a protagonist, and some supporters, right? So Giselle, at first view, when she first came on, she was gonna be the perfect Real Housewife to me. She's pretty, she's funny, intelligent, and she could carry the story. And she knew how to bring the bone. She knew how to be the bone collector, and those first 1 or 2 seasons, it was very light. It was very light, and you're like, wow, Giselle, you messy, but I fucks with you. Like, you funny. But it started to go downhill, and most notably around season 5, most notably, it started to go downhill probably like season 2 or 3 when Monique Samuels came onto the show. That's when we first started to see Giselle's issue with colorism, but we didn't know it was going to be that big of a deal until now. But a little background on Giselle. So she's known for being one part of what they call the Green-Eyed Bandits online because her and her best friend Robin Dixon are both light-skinned with
I'm
green
black.
eyes.
I am black.
I don't know if I'm gonna get through this. Oh, yes, they did say that when they were bullying Katie Ross season 1 about her not being black enough. Anyway. Oh, okay. So, Housewives, Giselle Bryant and Robin Dixon, they've been tight friends since forever. And they're both light skinned and they both have light eyes, green eyes. And so they are called online the Green Eyed Bandits. Like, I think maybe Karen brought it up. Like, I think she said it one episode. And it's just like, they call it that because they're messy. They're messy. And they will admit they are messy. But the issue with them is that sometimes they go a little too far. But if you've heard the Green Eyed Bandits, that's why. That's what they're called. Giselle first came on the show because she was the former housewife of Pastor Jamal Bryant. He was a very known pastor in the DMV area, very powerful. But then there was allegations of him having a relationship with a 17-year-old church member who possibly was pregnant as a result of it.
They always do that.
Allegedly, because he claims that it did not happen. He claims whatever, but there was infidelity. He did admit to infidelity. Word on the street, rumor mill, was there was more than one woman. It was like closer to like 8, like a bunch of women that either were pregnant and or were like had affairs, and they all were in the congregation. And so like Giselle was the first lady having to like confront like all of these women that were literally cheating with her husband religiously, allegedly. So that was a lot of drama coming out of there. So it kind of added to that. And, she got a lot of money from the divorce. She had a nice home. She had her 3 kids. And yeah, so like she was actually a really good choice for the Housewife franchise because she's funny. She knew people. She knew connections, stuff like that. And I think Charisse, one of the main housewives, she was the one that was like, the Nene of the group in the sense of bringing people together, like making sure, okay, you need to talk to this person, whatever. So that's a little about Giselle as far as why she came on the show. Fun fact, her father was an activist / politician, especially during the civil rights movement. So like he did work with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He is of Creole descent from Louisiana. And he just was always super political and stuff like that. Like think of like Beyonce's family lineage, right? Like Creole, Louisiana, stuff like that. He did a lot of great work. Just to run down, he just recently passed actually, I think last year, from cancer, I believe, or brain surgery. I think it was brain surgery. But he was one of the first African-American members for the Texas House of Representatives. He served 3 terms for the Democratic Party. It was during 1967 and 1973, which was like a big deal at the time. He lost his campaign. He was part of Representatives and he tried to run for the Texas Senate and then they lost. And then after that, they relocated from the DC area and went back to, I think he just like, I forgot where they went after that with the family, but just to know, like, he was very big into politics, stuff like that. Like, he's had a lot of firsts and, rest in peace, whatever. The issue, though, with Mr. Graves was that he has been known to be colorist as well. So, essentially, he was running for, the Democratic primary congressional seat in Texas, and he was running against this black woman named Barbara Jordan. She actually was doing really well and was like on par to be, I think she ended up winning that seat to make her the first black woman to be the Democratic primary congressional seat for Texas. When Graves was essentially losing, he called Barbara Jordan the Aunt Jemima of Texas politics. And in that article that I read, they called him the agitator. Remember that. They called him the agitator. Friend, how do you feel knowing that Giselle Bryant's father called a black woman the Aunt Jemima of Texas politics and was referred to as an agitator? How does that make you feel, friend? What do you think about that?
So he's a lighter skin, of lighter complexion.
Correct. And so is her mother.
Light skins.
Mm-hmm.
You know you have 30 minutes? 30, yes. It don't surprise me, knowing what I know now. It's so good that I'm getting to like get this background, because when I tell you I've only known these people by name, because anytime there's a new season, Real Housewives, I'm telling you that franchise be popping. Anytime on Twitter, there's always something. And Giselle was one of those names, and like her being colorist and Robin also being colorist was also something that would come up a lot. Aunt Jemima is crazy.
In print. Crazy. When I saw that,
I'm black.
Friend. Friend. It's crazy. So like it makes sense. Also too, like they're even going into kind of like Curtis Graves' life a little bit and like learning about things. A lot of men, there's conspiracy, or people think that the black men who fought so hard in the civil rights era was only doing it for integration so they could be with like their white women, allegedly. So there's that.
Oh
so
my
God.
God.
Fred.
Oh my God.
I know. So there's already speculation of that, but just to kind of understand what Giselle may be coming from growing up, maybe hearing conversations at the kitchen table, like maybe like she's used to not having to really respect darker skinned people. And like to see him get upset when his competitor was winning and to go for her color and like make fun of her and mammy her was like so telling, because as we'll get into, we'll see some of the ways in which Giselle will lash out when she's feeling um insecure, or when she's just like feeling a way about something,
Hmm.
when it comes to a black woman who may be more esteemed or have more accolades or just is smarter.
Right.
So yeah, so that's a little background, and some other background just to kind of the threads about Giselle that people don't like. So Giselle, she's known to be pretty, but there's not much like depth there, in the sense of she's not open about her life as much. Like the only thing we really get is like she'll show her kids. Her kids are really dope. Like they're really great kids, and like she actually is a really great mother. And you could see that she sincerely cares about them, and just the way she talks to them, the conversation, like it's just better. But when it comes to other people that are adults or other people, like she's just not good at having empathy, and very cold. And she's been accused of just going way too deep at times, when it's like, okay, this was light and now it's getting really dark. Um what else? Oh, so for Real Housewives, Andy Cohen, he's always known to have just like favorites, right? And so everyone's known that Giselle has probably been a favorite, which, like, okay, like Giselle, on paper, she's good at her job. Like, she knows she's the evil villain, she's the evil twin. She goes in and she does what she has to do. But the thing is she's not held accountable when things are out of pocket. But the issue that's been is
Hmm.
that because this is a white studio, this is a white show. It's, even though it's a black show, it's a white studio. They
Hmm.
don't know how to handle the intricacies that come with colorism, and they're in a tough spot. I mean, I don't have empathy, but it's like, I'm white. How can I come in and get upset with you for being colorist and I don't even pick up a book? You see what I'm saying? Like it's kind of a lot of that going on. So she's gotten away a lot with her pretty
Mm.
privilege, but also her lighter skin complexion has really helped. And just how she's been able to keep the show going. But because she had no real accountability, it was starting to get a little crazy. It was starting to get a little much, and so people were starting to get upset. Other qualms, people crack on her because she can't dress. It's like one of the
Yes.
things known, because she's really pretty, but usually sometimes when people are really pretty, they don't have to worry, or they don't try with everything else because they don't have to, because people just keep telling them they're pretty.
Yes.
Um, and she's not very interesting outside of antagonizing others. Like if you really just sat down and wanted to get to know her on, like as a character on the show, people really wouldn't, because she's not really that open.
Right.
Um, and then yeah, her remarks, she could just be very mean and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's kind of like the overview of Giselle, who she is, and we're gonna get into colorism now. So it's gonna get deep. Fred, before I get into it, like, have you heard anything about the colorism discussion on Real Housewives, or like,
Yeah,
have you heard anything? Yeah,
I've heard bits and pieces of the colorism conversation when it comes to Potomac, but obviously mainly from the memes, from the I'm black. I am
yeah,
black.
yeah.
Um, so excuse me, not as much when it came to Giselle. I had always heard the mean girl allegations and the that she can't dress. But the
Mm-hmm.
specifically her comments that she's made about other people, I don't know what she has said.
Mm-hmm.
Just mainly with Robin, it's hard. It's hard for me.
Yeah.
With my skins right now, I'm really. I'm on their neck right now. I'm really, you really don't have a lot of room to speak as a light skin around me. But no, I am curious to know exactly like what she has, how she has antagonized darker skinned uh, members of the show, and been able to get away with it because Annie don't know shit about shit. Why is
At
he that?
all.
Why was a black woman never available when it came to those specific franchises? He can do, um, the New Yorks and the Jerseys, and he can do the Orange County, the whatever. I'd be perfectly okay with that. But Atlanta, Potomac, they need to find a black woman. Monique, I don't care.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it because we're gonna talk about that too, because there was an episode where he was supposed to facilitate a very deep, racially triggering conversation, and it just was nothing. So, it's a lot to unpack, but yeah, we're gonna get into it. So, just to clarify, colorism is a form of discrimination, typically within a racial or ethnic group, favoring people with lighter skin over those with darker skin. So, I'm most familiar of how it shows up in the Black community. I know that a lot of it comes from the paper brown bag test back in the day. Our enslaved ancestors, if you were lighter skin, closer to being lighter than the paper brown bag, you're going in the house. If you weren't, you were outside. And then it was also like other like just psychological warfare that was done to our enslaved ancestors that have caused just animosity from both directions. Like, we can acknowledge that there's an animosity there. So take that into context when we go into some of these examples. So for colorism kind of started to become an issue in 2017. That is when Monique Samuels came onto the show. So it's pretty fresh. I think it was like the second season. And she was like perfect on paper. Like, literally, Black woman, beautiful family. She had a husband, 2 kids at the time. Yeah, I think she had 2 kids at the time. Her husband was a retired NFL player. He had a lot of money, and it was really sweet, actually, too. And yeah, she was coming on the show. She was invited on the show kind of by Charisse, but also by Robin Dixon, because Robin actually was cool with Monique. Also, to clear something up, so Robin's a whole other... She's a lot to break down. There's a lot there, because I know you've heard of Robin Dixon too, and she's controversial in her own ways. But with Robin, like, just know that she's the sidekick in the most respectful way possible. She's a sidekick to Giselle in the sense of that, like, she can still be friends with people. Like, colorism isn't as big of an issue with her as it is with Giselle. Like, it's kind of evident on the show, because she'll be friends with some of the women, that are darker skinned, and like, it's not an issue. Like, their kids will play together, stuff like that, until Giselle kind of deems it not okay, and she'll switch up. So just take that into consideration, because Giselle has a lot of power. Like, whether they acknowledge it or not, she has a lot of power on the show. And it's rumored that the only reason Robin was on the show for as long as she was, even though she wasn't giving her storylines, was because she had Giselle, and she knew that in order to keep the paycheck, she had to be good to Giselle, right? So, granted, I think she could have did better if she kind of had a little contention with Giselle at one point, but I think she was so afraid of losing her spot that whatever. But she ended up getting fired anyway, so whatever.
Yes.
So keep that in the context. Like, Robin, like, yes, Robin is flawed and she has issues, but I feel like there's more of a chance to get through to her than with Giselle.
I could see that.
Yeah. So anyway. So Monique comes onto the show, and, Monique's coming on, just trying to be herself, whatever, blah, blah. And I think, let me see if I can show it on here. This one clip was when, like, I think Giselle just could not take her anymore, like, just did not like her. And I think that was, like, the villain origin story of Giselle with darker skinned women.
High tea, I love high tea. Didn't know I was going to be meeting any new friends here today. With Princess Leia hair, Star Wars, really? That's what we doing?
You are friends with
Charisse.
With Charisse?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got here before your friend.
Yeah.
Ain't that nice?
Yeah.
Ain't that some proper?
She actually invited me
properness?
to. I invited her.
Oh, you did?
Monique and I spent a little bit of time together at Pure Bar the other day.
Oh, nice.
Whenever there are new people that come into our circle, Giselle feels it is her responsibility to haze them.
Your husband's much older, I take it.
Okay, very good.
Oh, how old are you?
So y'all are popping the Viagra. She's the self-appointed hazer of our group. I think she enjoys it, though.
So you from the area?
We're actually looking for a home in Potomac, Maryland.
You don't have a home?
I have 4 homes.
Okay.
I ain't mad with you. Just run down the real estate information. You go, girl.
So essentially, they had like a little like gathering. It was like some tea thing or whatever that Robin had invited Monique to. And so, they're all getting to know Monique and stuff like that. And like, one thing Real Housewives is known for is like kind of hazing their new housewives that come on the show. It's bad, but like they do. They're like trying to gauge, see what can get under your feathers, ruffle you up, stuff like that. So Giselle was obviously trying to ruffle up Monique's feathers. So they're talking and stuff like that. And Giselle was just like, oh, like, you know, like, you're here or whatever. And she's like, yeah. Monique's like, yeah, like, Charisse had, you know, I'm cool with Charisse. And she's like, oh, so you came before Charisse came? And then Robin's like, actually, I invited Monique. It's cool, you know, blah. I think they knew each other from whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then they kind of started talking some more. And then they were talking about, oh, Monique was saying that she was looking for houses in Potomac. She's trying to, like, you know, find a house or whatever. And so Giselle was like, oh, so you're, like, homeless? Like, you don't have a house? And Monique was like, actually, I have 4. Because her husband was a retired NFL player, and they have 4 houses. They just wanted another house in Potomac. And after that, I honestly feel like that is where Giselle was like, how dare she embarrass me? That's how it feels to me. That's how, because like the vitriol for the rest of the time, like Giselle always had beef with Monique. Now, I'll be the first to put out, especially after Monique left the show later on, Monique's not perfect. But the vitriol that Giselle had in those seasons was really strange. It eventually came to a head in the season 5 reunion, right? So like there was just a lot of contention. There were very like a lot of cliques going on, but just like that whole season, it started off because Robin Dixon and Giselle were spreading rumors, allegedly, that Monique Samuels was having an affair with her personal trainer, and that her new son really wasn't Chris's, her husband's. It was really that was the rumor, that it was really the trainer's kid and not Chris's. That was the rumor, right? That was what they were trying to push, Fran. Yeah. So they're trying to, like, Monique is trying, you could tell Monique's trying not to put that on the actual show, but like on the blogs everywhere, like that was actually like the real consensus. And also rumors that before each season, Giselle and Robin get a couple of the girls that they actually want to be cool with, and they conspire what storylines they want to do for the year. But that's deep lore, so I don't know. I'm just saying, this is alleged. That's the deep lore of it, right? So the whole season 5, Monique is like, I think, actively trying to battle against this rumor, because I think it was like undertones of it that they were trying to put out on the show, but Monique and them were like trying not to, because it just wasn't true. Mm-hmm. So also during the season is when Giselle was trying to revamp her storyline, because she had like one relationship in the past season that actually was like a good relationship, but it didn't work out. So she was trying to bring her ex Jamal Bryant back on the show and pretend like they were dating again. Cause she had nothing, right? So she was trying to do that. So everyone was like seeing through it, right? So Monique, in retaliation for like the horrific season they had put her through, and that's when she also had that fight with Candace Diller too, Candace Diller Bassett, that big fight at the winery. That was a lot too. Monique came with a big ass binder full of receipts of Pastor Jamal Bryant having an actual girlfriend that wasn't Giselle. Was proving that Giselle and him never got back together or anything. And it was, Fred, to this day, I don't think I've ever seen someone just so shell-shocked. Like, Giselle didn't even know what to say. She was so stuck. And I was just like, because literally Monique was like, I'll read off the number for you. Read off his number and was like, is this his phone number? And she said, yeah. And she said, okay. Well, he just said, this, and this. Like, screenshots, pictures, proving that he had a whole other person he was talking to that was not Giselle Bryant. So, Friend, to this day,
Oh,
there are housewives that have tried to do what Monique has done and have not been successful. It comes off gimmicky. It's corny at this point. But like the binder, if there was a museum or something, it would be in the museum. Like it was like she was stuck. I've never seen her like that ever. Stuck. The
was that
rumor.
the?
Oh,
It
go
was
ahead.
I
You said what?
was that it with that lady? It was a lie. It was all a lie. Is she crying?
No, that was Real Housewives of Atlanta, I think,
Oh,
um with Candy and Phaedra. That was, ooh, we gonna talk about that one day too.
that was good. No, 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 not that one. I don't know which one I'm thinking of. I'd have to send you a clip. She like
Send me a
holding a
clip.
stack of. Um, she lied. It was all a lie. She like crying.
No, that's not her. That's not her. Cause she had like
Uh,
a binder and she was not crying at all. She was very businesslike. Oh, I want to
oh
rewatch it now
yeah,
talking about it.
at the reunion or something. Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was like monumental.
yeah.
To this day, like there's nobody else that's done it like her. And they've tried to. People have tried, but it's just not the same.
Good for
And then I think that is when Giselle really just like went off. The rumor, so afterwards, because I studied it, because I was just like, this is actually amazing. So like I researched, I listened to all the interviews. Monique Samuels claims that at the reunion they cut out a lot of it where Giselle was like yelling. Giselle was like literally yelling, angry, trying to get security to take Chris Samuels out, the husband, like just doing a lot because she was like essentially embarrassed by the moment. And that interview with her kind of solidified for me of like the protection of Giselle. Like I was like, this is getting really interesting to the point where you're allowing her to act like this. Like what's going on? So that was kind of where we really knew, okay, you might really be colorist for real because you really going in on this darker skinned black woman who's just existing and it bothers you.
yeah.
Next, that transpired into Dr. Wendy Asefo getting a lot of that heat. So that's funny. That reunion was that season 5 was when Dr. Wendy Osefo first got on. But because of the beef with Monique and Giselle and all that and Candace, we were just getting to know Wendy. Wendy is a Nigerian American commentator. She has 4 degrees, where she told us like every episode of season 5, but that's fine. 4 degrees. She was a professor at Johns Hopkins University, but she just stepped down this past year because, she's doing a lot of commentating. She's on the show. She has a lot of opportunities coming, so it was time to step down. But essentially, like, even though, yes, Wendy was talking a lot about her degrees, which she earned, like, she fucking earned it. You could tell that they got under Giselle's skin, especially after Monique was gone. It's like she put her attention onto Wendy and Candace as well. I'm okay with Candace. Candace did experience colorism on the show. Candace Dillard Bassett. I'm just not including her in this discussion right now because 1, this would be hella long because there's a lot with Candace too. But like 2, Candace was actively participating in the group season 5. And then wondered why they turned on her season 6 and 7. You can't do that. You can't do that. The writing was on the wall. You wanted to be a part of the group, and you forgot what you look like. And I'm not saying that justifies the treatment you got. I'm not saying that at all. But I would like more accountability in that. And she still hasn't had accountability for the ways in which she started the fight with Monique. I rest my case on that one. So that's why I'm not really focusing on Candace as much, but she did experience colorism, and I am happy that she's off the show now and able to like enjoy her pregnancy with her husband. So there's that. But yeah, with Dr. Wendy Asefo, you could tell that Giselle was intimidated by her intelligence and her accolades, and Wendy would read the fuck out of Giselle. Like there were some times where I just was like, damn. It's bad. I'm gonna send you the TikToks because like it'd make this too long. But yeah, it was embarrassing. Some actual examples though of Giselle like doing a lot was like, okay, there's one time, right? So Giselle was remodeling her house. But it wasn't done in time for filming. So she had like a get together at her house, but it was outside because inside wasn't like ready to be showed. And so mind you, right, so it's like a cute little hut or whatever, but yeah, you have construction on the other side. And so Wendy ended up coming, just trying to be a good housewife and a crew cast member coming or whatever. So they talking, and then Giselle says that Karen and Wendy can't go into the restroom in the house if they need to go to the restroom. And so Wendy's like, well, why can't I go use the restroom? And she's like, well, you were talking about my house, so you're on my hater list, so you can't go to the restroom. One, okay, I understand why people may be thinking, oh, it's not that serious. But friend, like, if you're not letting me in the restroom of a house and you don't even have a real reason as to why I can't go in, because later through the discussion, they realized that Wendy didn't even say anything about the house. Now, Wendy did talk about her outfit and how she can't dress, but she never said anything about the house. So for me, I'm like, the fact that you would not let a dark-skinned woman use your restroom on public television and you just okay with it, it's strange. It's very strange. With Giselle's fixation on colorism, there's also been the question of, okay, Giselle, like, your children aren't light skinned. Okay, your husband's darker, so your kids came out a nice brown. Like, and look, it is what it is. But every time someone confronts her of like, hey, like, how can you be a colorist but have brown skinned girls? What is the conversation in the house? She gets very defensive. Don't talk about my kids. Don't talk about my kids. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, but you have brown skinned girls. What are we talking to them about? And it's interesting because I feel like she is a good mom. There's like, I've seen scenario and like some stuff, it just doesn't look fake. Like, I think she is a great mom, but it's just interesting. And it made me think of like how, how like white people adopt black kids and like not see their black kids as black kids. I wondered that with her of like, okay, you have brown skinned girls, but you're okay with like humiliating these dark-skinned black women on national television. It's strange. It's strange. So that's kind of like some examples of how Giselle had just been really mean to darker skinned women, or like has gaslit them essentially. Like when it comes to the issue of colorism, she like really like can't even like focus. Like she can't even like really participate. She gets very, very, very defensive. And I think a lot of that attributes maybe to how it was with her dad. I really do. Cause I'm like, this is a lot. Yeah. How do you feel about all that before I get into the nitty gritty? Like, how do you feel about hearing about that and how colorism has been present?
It makes a lot of sense. It definitely now, with, because when it comes to the darker skinned women on the show, I'm not sure if they're doing this on purpose, but they definitely choose, which again I think kind of flows into the respectability politics conversation, but it feels like they choose these highly decorated or, well-to-do dark skins. And is that like an internal struggle that she has? Like, does she not go to school? Like, does she not have like what is her personal background? Did she have to like do any type of get any kind of degree, or is she just a housewife?
She actually did get a degree. I think she went to Howard, if I'm not mistaken. She's an AKA. I know that.
Wow. I'm joking. Because now, because now.
No, you're good. It's not that, like, hold on, let me see. Where Bryant College? Let's see.
No, I made a face because I said, you said she was an AKA. I'm not even in no sorority. Like, so everybody calm down.
She went to Hampton, my bad. She went to Hampton. Yeah, with Giselle, I don't know. Like, I honestly think it's
wording complex or something.
Like, it might be. Because I feel like if you have someone that you grew up with telling you that you're better simply because you're lighter, I mean, like, and somebody comes in that's darker than you and they dress better, they got more degrees, they may have more money, they may not be dependent on a man, it could all be a lot to take in, because I'm like, okay, well, why am I not having those things? Why is it not working for me? So maybe she does feel that way. I don't know. But it definitely has been a question. But it's a valid question. And it's actually interesting because Giselle and Wendy are both AKAs. So at first, I think Wendy thought that, oh, yeah, soror, whatever. And
sisters.
Not Giselle said no, not today. Bravo. Like I feel like the Real Housewives of Potomac community has really been getting on Bravo. Like, yo, what's this? What's this? Like, y'all aren't really like hearing us. So it got to a point where during season 7, it got to like a huge tipping point of like, okay, Giselle was really treating Wendy this way and it's terrible, treating Candace this way and it's terrible. Like, y'all need to do something. So in the part 2 of the season 7 reunion, they tried to have like a talk about it. And mind you, it just didn't work because one, you have Andy Cohen trying to help facilitate, but not really. I think it was when he was like, I don't really have much to say on it, so I'm gonna let you guys talk it out or some shit like that. I think it was like Wendy like read off. I don't know. It just was like, this is not how you do it. You need to bring in an outside source who's knowledgeable on the subject and who's, I don't know, black to like facilitate the conversation, and it wasn't done. So it definitely fell flat, and it also was just like, because there was no real person to properly mediate it, you had Candace just getting really emotional because you could tell it was just so much inside that it was hard for her to, really like get them to understand. And then also you have Giselle over here acting like nothing's wrong, nothing's happening, and like literally like not even looking them in the eye type of stuff. Like, it was actually really disrespectful. Bravo hasn't really done anything to confront it properly. But there was like a really big article that came out after last season called "Breaking the Fourth Wall: The Real Housewives of Potomac," and Essence wrote the article. A journalist for Essence, and they ripped them a new one, broke it all down, the xenophobia, because at that time they were being really xenophobic with Wendy, saying that Wendy participated in like spirituality, hoodoo, all that, and was like denouncing it because of her African lineage. They addressed the colorism, and so it was starting to get pretty like, okay, Bravo, something gotta happen. Now we're in starting season 9, and a lot of differences I see now is all of the new housewives and like friends of are all darker skin or brown skin, all of them. Like, and I'm like, that seems a little more than coincidental. So there's that. Robin got fired. Candace left for her pregnancy. So you could definitely see Giselle humbling herself and really trying to be nicer. Like, you could obviously see that she's trying, because a lot of people were like, I'm not watching if she's on my screen. Like, it was getting to that point of just how diabolical she was becoming. So this season so far, I watched the first episode. It seems like Giselle's trying to be nicer, reaching out to Karen after the whole DUI situation, and is even trying to reconcile with Dr. Wendy Osefo, which we're going to see in this next episode how that turns out. Me, as of now, I don't like it because I feel like it's very fake. I feel like she's only doing it because she knows how it looks and how she's looked for the past 5 seasons. It just doesn't seem genuine at all. And I'm interested to see like how they reconcile, because I guess like they reconcile the season and things are good or whatever, but it seems like band-aids on real issues and it's going to turn up again at some point. But yeah, that's kind of like, I guess, the resolution to it so far. But Potomac has been through a lot, and a lot of people just stopped watching, I think, because of the colorism, because of Giselle, and because Bravo isn't holding Giselle accountable, and the people that are just like actively doing really harmful stuff. Like, what is the limit? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that's Real Housewives of Potomac. How you feel?
I can't wait to like catch up now and like put all the pieces together, because I only know the show in like the big clips. But I remember this conversation when it came to Bravo was happening, and how they've been responding, and how ill-prepared they are to even have the conversation properly, to satiate the viewers that they're sucking all this money out of by having their eyes on it. So they have like the Real Housewives franchise like that's a strong fan base. Like, we're talking what, 15, 20 years at least at this point. How long has it been going on? Yeah, like, these women have followed from city to city. Yes, certain franchises may have demographic of watchers, depending, but like Black women have strongly supported this franchise and therefore have put money into Bravo's pocket. So the fact that there's still at this point in 2024 this like uninformed when it comes to colorism on a predominantly Black cast is like you follow these women and like have a camera in their face every single day and like are listening to their conversations in the way that they, but you're still confused.
Yeah.
Like they're up for the majority of their week and again like have a camera in their face and they're still like, what is color? We don't really know, so we're just gonna have you guys talk it out. Like that is so. Yeah.
I think it's a point that I actually wanted to hit on, so thank you for bringing it up. There's always been a discussion of the treatment of the white housewife shows compared to the Black housewife shows. And essentially, especially with Real Housewives of Atlanta, like especially to see how it's flopped now and like how it's just like in the gutter. And that was a hard one to swallow because that was like, that's my OG. Like that's how I got into the game. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing was like, even back then when like it was more fresh and stuff, like it felt like there was a point where Andy had more disdain for the Black reunions when he would do it and like less patience as compared to like the white reunions where he would just like play around with the women like, oh yeah, like, and not take it seriously. And just kind of have more of an enjoyment. Like you could visually see and feel it to a degree. I think what's interesting is how there have been seasons and times when like Real Housewives was like the most watched show on the channel, but yet wasn't given the same respect and boundaries that maybe the White Housewives were receiving. And I feel like that's the same thing with Potomac because they don't have anybody intrinsically doing the work of like really trying to figure out how to ethically get these things done to create a good show. They're missing out on really great opportunities to have like an even stronger fan base. I also think too that like media and just like bigger entities in general feel like they can tell us what we want and then it just be okay when it's like, no, but I'm telling you what I want. I don't want to see this. We got to start boycotting. As much as I love Potomac, like if we not liking what we see, we have to make a statement. And yeah, so I definitely agree with you. I feel that there's just no intentionality when it comes to the protection of Black women on these shows especially. And so it's just been kind of like sad to witness that in real time and to confront that in real time. So, yeah. But yeah, friend, that's Real Housewives of Potomac. I mean, it's not everything, Lord knows. It's just a lot to unpack when it comes to Potomac. But those are kind of like the main thoroughfares of like just a lot. The colorism that we experience in the Black community, the respectability and the classism that's also threaded in that. Also threaded in the colorism too of just like, because you're darker skinned, no matter how much you get, no matter how many accolades, how many degrees you got, I'm still better than you. And that's just like the real reality that this show confronts. And I think a very interesting way that sometimes people don't always like, you know, accept or acknowledge. But yeah, I'm happy we kind of got to break it down today. This was fun. I had a good time doing this. So yeah.
I love. Yeah, no, Bravo really need to do better. Bravo really need to do better because I'm not sure. I mean, Bravo does have a lot of shows, but as far as 2024 goes, what Married to Medicine or whatever it is, ain't nobody really watching. Ain't nobody really watching nothing else on that network. So yeah, I don't know when we'll see change when it comes to how just the Black franchises versus the predominantly white franchises, and then within the Black franchises still having to do with colorism sounds insane. So I understand why a lot of them are probably over it. Did that one woman, Monique, did she ever come back? Or
no, so she left. That after that season, she left. They actually wanted her back, and she turned it down. She said, "I'm not coming back. Y'all attacked my family." She left. Course. She tried to do this other show. So Carlos King, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He used to be a producer for Real Housewives of Atlanta, but he ended up leaving, doing his own ventures. Not on bad terms, just, whatever. He's created his own kind of housewives kind of vibes. What's it called? Oh my gosh. Anyway, he had basically a show with couples in DC. And so she was supposed to be like the head woman on that show with Chris Samuels. But then they ended up getting a divorce.
Oh.
And she ended up not being as great on that show as she was on Potomac. So now I think she's doing like radio stuff, and like she has like a herb company, or like essential oils company, I think, that she's been doing. So she's doing fine. She just got kind of weird after the show, though. Like, she would say some stuff, we're like, oh, like, you're kind of weird. So, but other than that, I think she's doing pretty okay, though. I think she's doing okay overall, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I love the lore. I can't wait to connect all the dots. I can't guarantee that I'm gonna watch this whole thing in succession.
I know.
I'm watching quite a few shows right now. I am going to look at some of the reunions now and put two and two together, because
that's a good idea. Watch all the reunions. That's a good idea. Watch all the reunions. They tell you all the backstory.
Right.
It's smart.
I think I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. Okay, Fred. Okay, we gonna talk about it, because I want to know what you think. Like, I really do.
Yeah.
Okay, bet. Okay, y'all. Well, shit. That was the episode. Femininity and Real Housewives of Potomac. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment if it's on your heart. You want to talk about it. We love your comments. We love talking to y'all about things. So please leave a comment. Wait, Marz, you have anything coming up? Any shows?
I do, y'all. So, of course, by this time, you'll have seen about Hurricane Milton and the path that it took, and this time it decided to go directly straight through Central Florida last week, so that was really fun. I did have a little, como se dice, a comedy night scheduled the exact same day that the hurricane was supposed to hit, so it had to be moved to this week. But now it's this week. It's on the 17th, same time, same location, same smiling faces. Hopefully I get to see you there. We're gonna laugh. I got a lot of stuff put together for it, and yeah, it should be fun. It should be good. So if you can make it, Little Indies, Orlando, Florida, on Mills at 10 p.m. on October 17th, 2024.
Let's do it. Okay, friend. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope I see you guys there.
Yes, please come, y'all. We're going to see y'all next week. Bye.